So after flying DJI Neo 2 for a while now, I've found a few problems that you don't really notice on day one. Some are small, some are actually important, and a couple of them might decide if this drone is right for you or not. In this video, I want to be honest and show you the hidden issues I ran into after using the Neo 2 in real life. If you're new here, welcome. I make simple, no-nonsense videos about cameras, drones, and tech you might actually buy. If that sounds useful, consider subscribing. Okay. But first, let's talk about the Neo 2. I've been flying this thing indoors, outdoors, over grass, concrete, slightly windier days, just normal everyday use. And after about a week, a few patterns started to appear. Let's start with the one you'll notice the fastest, hidden problem 1. The real flight time. On paper, DJI says up to 19 minutes of flight time, and technically, they're not lying. In perfect conditions, flying very gently, you can get close, but after a week of real use, my experience is very different. In normal flying, a bit of climbing, a bit of turning, recording in 4K, I'm seeing more like 10 to 12 minutes of comfortable flight time. If I switch to sport mode or push it harder, it can drop closer to 8 or 9 minutes before I start feeling nervous and want to bring it home. The other thing you start to notice after a few cycles is that the last 25% of the battery disappears faster than the first 25%. So you might think, oh, I still have 24% left, I can squeeze in one more shot, and suddenly you're at 10% and the drone wants to land. Is this a deal breaker? For me, no, but it changes how you plan your flights. After 1 week, I've already accepted that one battery equals one short session. If you want to film anything serious, you basically need a fly more kit or extra batteries. That's just the reality. Hidden problem 2. Storage fills up fast. The second thing that creeps up on you after a week is storage. The Neo 2 has around 49 gigabytes of internal memory, and that's it. There is no micro SD card slot. You can't just throw in a bigger card and forget about it. At first it feels fine. You go out, you record a few short clips, everything is good, but once you start shooting 4K 60 or 4K 100 and you keep the clips longer, that storage bar climbs really quickly. After a week, I found myself doing this routine: fly, record a few nice moments, come back home, immediately offload footage because I know next time I'll run out of space. For casual users who record 10-20 second clips, it's okay. But if you're the type of person who likes to record full bike rides, long walks, or just keeps the camera rolling, this becomes a real limitation. The hidden problem here isn't that the storage is tiny, it's that you can't upgrade it, and you only really feel that once you've used it for a few days. Hidden problem 3. The rear antenna is a weak spot. Next one is about durability. Overall, the Neo 2 is actually a very tough little drone. The built-in prop guards save it from a lot of small crashes. You can bump a wall or a chair at low speed, and it usually just shrugs it off, but there is one area that feels more vulnerable, and that's the rear antenna module. Because it sticks out at the back, if you crash backwards, or if the drone falls and lands on its tail, that's the part that's likely to take the hit. Even when you're packing it into a tight bag or a small case, it's very easy to accidentally press on that antenna section without noticing. After a few weeks of using it, I've become very conscious about how I grab and store the drone. I hold it from the sides or the front, and when I throw it in a bag, I make sure nothing is pushing on the back. So the hidden problem isn't the drone is weak, it's that one exposed piece that needs a bit of extra care. If you treat that part gently, the rest of the body feels like a brick. Hidden problem 4. Sensors can struggle over water and shiny surfaces. This next one, I expected it, but still, after a week it becomes very clear. The Neo 2's downward sensors sometimes don't behave perfectly over water. The drone relies on optical sensors to understand the ground, but water, especially calm, reflective water, can confuse these sensors. You might see slight altitude wobble, or the drone might suddenly drift a bit because it can't get a solid reading. Same thing can happen on shiny floors indoors, like tiles, polished wood, or glossy surfaces. It's not a crash level issue, but you definitely feel the drone becoming a bit unsure. After 1 week, my personal rule is very simple. If I'm flying over water, I keep at least 2 to 3 meters of height. Not because the drone is bad, but because this is just how every small drone behaves without a rock-solid downward lock. So yes, the Neo 2 can absolutely fly over water. Just don't skim the surface like you're shooting a Hollywood movie on your first attempt. Hidden problem 5. Obstacle avoidance isn't perfect indoors. The Neo 2 finally has obstacle sensors in every direction, which is awesome, but indoors, especially in low light, those sensors can be a little bit hit and miss. After a week of flying around rooms, hallways, tables, and chairs, here's what I've noticed. The drone is great at detecting big objects. It's decent at stopping before walls, but it can still miss small, thin, fast-moving obstacles like wires, plants, or chair legs. Also, the faster you fly, the more time the drone needs to slow down. It doesn't instantly brake the second it sees an obstacle. There's a small reaction delay. This doesn't mean the sensors are bad, it just means you should not fly aggressively indoors and expect the drone to do all the work. After 1 week, I've learned to trust the sensors, but also keep my thumb ready to stop at all times. In short, great safety feature, Gelser, but not magic. Hidden problem 6, range isn't great without the transceiver. This one only becomes obvious after a few flights in different locations. When you fly the Neo 2 without the digital transceiver, the range is okay. Not bad, but also not amazing. If you have buildings, trees, or Wi-Fi interference around you, the signal can drop faster than you think. Indoors especially, you'll see the video feed break up if you go behind walls or furniture. Outdoors in open space, it's totally fine, but it's still not as strong or consistent as drones with O4 or OcuSync. The moment you add the transceiver, the transmission becomes much more stable. The image doesn't freeze as easily, and you feel a lot more confident flying a bit further away. So the hidden problem isn't the range itself, it's that the best experience is locked behind an extra accessory that not everyone buys on day one. Hidden problem 7, low light footage gets soft. Like, the camera on the Neo 2 is great in daylight. Sharp, colorful, clean, but after a week you start noticing that in low light, the drone uses heavy noise reduction. This makes the image look smoother, but also less detailed. Edges get softer, textures blend a bit, and overall the footage doesn't look as crisp. Totally normal for a small sensor, nothing unusual. But it's something you definitely notice only after using it a few nights or in darker interiors. So if you fly a lot in the evening or indoors with poor lighting, this is something to keep in mind. Hidden problem 8, it warms up during long indoor sessions. Another small thing I noticed after a week, the Neo 2 gets warm during long indoor flights. Not hot enough to worry, but warm enough that you feel it when you pick it up. Indoors, there's no wind to cool the body, and if you're recording 4K in the same room for 15 to 20 minutes, especially hovering or flying slowly, the heat builds up. Now, it hasn't overheated on me, and from what I've seen, most people won't have problems, but if you're practicing indoors a lot or shooting long indoor clips, just know that the drone runs warmer indoors than outdoors. Again, not a deal breaker, just something you only notice after using it repeatedly. Hidden problem 9, app connection isn't always instant. Another thing that shows up after a week. Sometimes the app takes a moment to connect. Most of the time it's fast. Plug in the cable or open the wireless connection and it works. But every now and then, you get that moment where it doesn't pair immediately or the live view takes a few seconds to appear. A quick unplug and replug usually fixes it, or restarting the drone. But it's enough to notice once you've used it a few times, not a huge problem, but something to be aware of, especially if you're flying quickly and want to take off fast. Hidden problem 10, the battery percentage isn't linear. The last hidden problem, and this is something small drones always deal with, is that the battery percentage doesn't drop evenly. The first 50% feels normal, but the last 20-25% goes down quicker. For example, you might be flying comfortably at 30% and suddenly you're at 16%. then it jumps to 10%, and the return to home warning kicks in. After a week, you start to understand the pattern. When the drone gets below 25%, you don't try to push it, you just bring it back. Again, it's not a fault, it's just how small, high-performance batteries behave. But you only really learn this after several flights. Now, before this video sounds too negative, let me be clear. I actually really enjoyed the Neo 2 during this week. A few things that surprised me in a good way. One, the drone is incredibly fun to fly. It's responsive, smooth, predictable, and way more stable than you'd expect from such a small drone. Two, the built-in prop guards give you confidence. I don't feel stressed flying indoors. It feels safe around people and pets. Three, the daylight footage is genuinely good, clean, sharp, colorful, perfect for daily short videos or social media. 4, it's more durable than it looks, right? After a few bumps and small indoor taps, the frame still looks new. 5, it's the most beginner-friendly drone DJI has right now, and that's honestly the best thing about it. So yes, it has limitations, but for what it's designed to be, it's extremely enjoyable. So yeah, these are the hidden problems I discovered after 1 week with the DJI Neo 2. None of these make it a bad drone, they just help you understand what to expect in real life. If you want me to test something specific next, range, water, low light, or accessories, leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.